I'm here at the Palmer Worth Show, and I'm talking to, what is your name, young man?
Ed Kalinowski.
Ed Kalinowski. Now, I'm probably the first one to ever ask you to do this, but could you spell Kalinowski for me?
Yeah, it's Kalinowski.
Now, Ed, I understand that you had a somewhat recent experience with the state of California. Is that right?
That's
a little jarring from what I suspect.
Expensive one.
An expensive one. Now, what I was told that you had kind of an original book that had maybe 400 photographs of convicts in it. Is that correct?
That's correct. It was actually about 550 photos.
550 photos.
And it was the Bookings Mug Book from Folsom Prison from 1904.
From 1904. It was just 1904, or
just
was
1904, January 1st to December 31st, 1904.
So it was the booking. So that means that as prisoners are entering Folsom, they take the picture and then they put it in that book.
That's correct. They would take 3 pictures of them: a frontal, fully clothed coming in with their hair and their hats on. Then they would do side ones with their head shaved, and then they would show them in a uniform.
I see. And about how many pages was that book?
Let's see. There was nine photos on each page. So 9 times 100 would be 90.
What's for sale in your bag?
Okay, so it's 900.
It was about 150 pages.
About 150 pages. And so I was wondering, how did you acquire this document?
I acquired this from the family of a retired California Department of Corrections captain who worked at Folsom Prison.
And how old was he at the time?
I didn't meet him personally. I got it from his wife. I think he's in his late 40s.
Now, about what year did you acquire this?
Let's see. This was a year and a half ago. So it was about 2010.
Okay. Oh, so it's a couple years ago.
2010. Okay. Yeah.
And so, what do you think it was worth?
It was in my store at $1,850.
And did you have any bids at a lower amount?
I had a $1,400 offer on it, which I had turned down.
Okay, so definitely is worth at least $1,400.
Oh, absolutely.
And you felt if you hold on to it, find the right person. And who would be a likely buyer? I know Chuck Palmer, who helps run this show. He collects stuff like that.
That's correct. And
who would be a likely buyer for that?
I actually had sent this to Chuck on approval, and he gave it some interest in it, but because of the cost, he did not. But it mainly goes to people that are collector of law enforcement memorabilia, primarily badge collectors, restraint collectors like handcuffs, patch collectors, that type of stuff.
See? And so, fast forwarding to what had happened, I understand that at your store one day. Now, what was the name of the business that the Antique Mall, I believe?
It was the Antique Trove in Roseville, California.
The Antique Trove in Roseville, California. One day, an official from the state came there and visited you. Is that right?
Well, actually, I know exactly when it happened. It happened on January 1st of 2011. Because that was the day that the law went into effect at 12:01 a.m.
So he came there on the day the law came into effect.
He gave me a 3-page document advising me that as of 12:01 a.m. this particular item we had is now considered to be stolen property in the eyes of California because of a new law that had been passed called Assembly Bill 1245.
And in rough terms, what does that bill mean? What does it now say that's illegal that used to be legal?
That's right. Basically, this law is called the California Stolen Property, it's called the Stolen Public Document Property Recovery Law. It allows anything that has ever been in the state of California that was ever a public document to be recovered by the state of California, with 2 exceptions. If it's in a accredited library like the Bancroft or the Huntington or in a museum, then if it's in an individual's property and they find out about it, they can notify you and the state of California is going to recover it.
So do you have some idea of what the purpose of the law, what are they trying to accomplish by this law?
They claim it's because the state feels it was always their property. It should never have been out into the public domain. I think it's also they can't compete on the open market.
But what do they want to do with this stuff?
This went back into the archives, even though they had an absolutely perfect copy of the same mug book already. They always did 2 of them. These mug books were actually meant to be destroyed over the years once they were no longer had valid use, but a lot of the people that were prison wardens and stuff that had this responsibility chose not to do that, and they kept these things for historical posterity. Now the state wants them back, even though they should have been destroyed.
I see. And so, so he came in and he confiscated it? Is that what happened?
No, he did not. He served me these papers. He advised me that he was going to be, that I would be contacted by the Department of Justice for the state of California, and approximately a week to 10 days later I received that letter. They asked me what I intended to do. I had already contacted an attorney that I knew that was a collector. He read the law and he said it's absolutely black and white. There is no defense that would allow me to keep that, and he says you're wasting your time to hire a lawyer because you're going to lose the case. So I notified the Justice Department that I would surrender it at the appropriate time, which is what I did. I surrendered it to the state archivist for the state of California about a week after that.
When you surrendered, how did you go about? Did you drive somewhere, or how did that work?
No, she actually came and met me at the Antique Trove. She was very apologetic about it. I refused to turn it over to the person that had actually given me the papers originally, because he was really cocky and arrogant about the way he approached this. And she, on the other hand, the archivist, I expressed that I would not turn it over to him. She came personally. She was very nice about it. She was apologetic about my monetary loss. And
So what did it cost you to buy it?
I think I had paid $600 or $700 for this. And it had been, like I said, it had been bought directly from the family that was a California Department of Corrections officer.
Okay, well, great.